I'm going to read the marriage theme. This is our marriage theme. If you were getting married for the first time, or the second time, or, sometimes it might be the third time, who knows? You might say, what is the theme for us in our marriage as a married couple? I'm going to read it. I'm not going to elaborate on it. We've done that before in our first 2 episodes, and we'll probably go back maybe a couple months down the road and redo some of those episodes because they weren't very good. Well, our first episodes we're getting better. I think we're getting better. We got better equipment. We got a banner. One day I'm gonna figure out how to get better recording software and apps and whatever, and we'll be fancy. And so if you're married and you want to know what Bible section, what part of the Bible was going to help us in our marriage, well, I'm going to tell you. This is our theme: Ephesians chapter 5, verses 22 through 32. And some people, if you know that passage, if that rings a bell, you're like, ooh, it's kind of tough. Talking about submission, and I'm like, well, hold on. This is it. I'm not going to explain it too much because we've done that before and might do it again. So if you're married, again, Christian, if you're Christians and you're married again, you think, what is my theme? Here it is. Wives, be subject to your own husbands, as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ also is the head of the church, he himself being the Savior of the body. So, number one, Paul says, wives, submit to your husbands. You might think, oh, that's kind of tough. And women going, I don't know about that. But then he says, husbands, love your wives like Christ also loved the church. Oof, I think we got it tougher. For you to submit to me is easy. When you see what I got to do, I got to love you like Christ loved the church. That's tough. And if I do that, husbands, if you do that, you won't even have to think about her submitting to you, because it'll be a relationship that is patterned after the Bible. Christ is the head, and then the man submits to Christ, and the wife submits to the husband. So let me read. Husbands, love your wife just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, so that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of the water of the word. So husbands, when you live a godly life, when you lead your life as Christ leads you, then you lead your wife. You are making her holy. What that word sanctify means, making her holy. But your leadership is going to make her holy, that he might present to himself the church in all her glory, having no spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that she might be holy and blameless. So husbands ought to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his own wife loves himself. I like myself. Men, we love ourselves. We love our hobbies. We love our extra activities. We love our man caves or whatever. If you've got a man cave. But if you got to give some of that up for her, you need to do that. You need to make sure that whatever you like to do, she needs to come first. You need to love her more than you love yourself. I know he said as yourself, but I say more. For no one ever hated his own flesh. But guys, if you're one of these oddballs that you're woe is me and life's terrible and I just can't stand myself, that's a problem. I don't know how you get over that, but you gotta get over that. But it's not, what my point is, it's not normal for a person to hate their own selves.
Mhm.
You got a problem if you do. Most people like themselves, but you gotta love your wife as much or more. For this reason, a man shall leave his father, and this is Genesis chapter 2, is what he's quoting from. A man shall leave his father and his mother, and shall be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. It's a great mystery, but I'm speaking in reference to Christ's church. So that's it. I'm not going to elaborate more, but number one, when you're married again, that should be your theme. You should read that. You should know that. You should meditate on that. Get you some commentary. Ask somebody to explain that to you. That should be the theme of your marriage relationship. Okay, so let's move on.